What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail. Black men have something to say. I use Outkast for the thumbnail because that was one of the biggest quotes in hip hop. Was at the Source Awards in the '90s. Outkast came on the stage. Well, actually, the Dungeon family came on the stage. You know, if y'all don't know who that is, that's like Outkast, Goody Mob, Rico Wade. You know, the production team, Sleepy Brown, all of them. Cool Breeze, so on and so forth. But they came on the stage, and Outkast, I think, won an award, and he was like, listen, man, the South got something to say, you know, because the South wasn't taken seriously at that time as far as rap and hip-hop music. And this is what my opinion is about black men. What you're seeing is black men have something to say. And it's becoming more and more difficult to ignore what black men have to say. It's becoming more and more difficult for people to say what black men say isn't relevant. It's becoming more and more difficult to put what black men have to say on the back burner. You know, and a lot of people don't want to deal with the idea that, man, black men got a point. Because black men are not operating in intersectionality because our existence is different than everybody else's. So our experiences are different than anybody else's. And because our experiences are different, our perspective is different. And our expertise about unfairness is different. So what you wind up having is a situation where you can't really be intersectional with us. Like using, let's see who I can say. Using the Young Turks, right? You would call it a leftist Democratic Party, maybe progressive, liberal news channel. But a lot of their material is based on things happening to. They've made a lot of material with things that happen to black people, not Turkish people. You know what I'm saying? Not Middle Eastern people, not Asians, not Hispanics, any non-white I could think of, not Samoans. The most unfairness that they can talk about is normally something that happens to black men in particular. You know, not gays, not none of that. And it's interesting because that when something happens to us, that's when we do the people of color thing. And us people of color and da-da-da-da, well, this don't happen to you. So why am I going to keep listening to you say what's happening to me when this is not your experience whatsoever? You can't even relate to this. You're by proxy trying to do intersectionality with something that doesn't affect your life at all. That doesn't affect your family's life, doesn't affect your children's life. Something that you can't even fathom happening to you or in your life right currently, or you can't fathom it happened to you in the past, you know, unless you was around somebody black. So when black men speak, we got something to say. Thus, when I was talking about, I don't know how long ago it was, about how heterosexual black men, it's very difficult to have us on television and radio because our perspective trumps everybody else's because our reality is completely different. We live in a completely different world than everybody else. Even our own women. So when we have something to say, it's unrelatable as far as, you know, fairness goes. And since it's unrelatable as far as fairness goes, then you got people let's just suppress what's going on with them. If we can't drive the narrative and make this and hitch our wagon to this black man's struggle or his different viewpoint of America, then we're gonna have to push him out of the door. And you see this time and time and time again. So when and the black manosphere exists because black men got something to say. And so much so that there are a lot of women in the space who, in essence, they're not necessarily forced to listen, but life has put them in a position where they might want to listen because things are a little bit more real than they took into consideration. And I find it ironic that the person you never wanted to listen to has got the most has got the most ability to communicate how bad things can actually be ahead of schedule. You know, this stuff is so predictable. We could predict it on our watch 2, 3, 4, 5 days in advance because it's just our experience. We know how to maneuver when somebody is constantly watching you, constantly on your neck, you know, constantly trying to do something to you. We realize, you know, we got to get ourselves out of certain positions because they don't work out the same for us. We won't get a promotion for something that you'll get a promotion for. We might get fired for something you might get a promotion for. So at the end of the day, and using one of the old videos, I forgot what it was though. I can't even think of it off the top of my head. I just forgot it, just blanked out just like that. But in essence, I was looking at something with Black Lives Matter recently. And the brother got killed in Minneapolis with a no-knock warrant. And the ladies were doing a news story about a young female swimmer who had a Black Lives Matter swimsuit, and that was her protest, and they tried to make sure she not swim. See how those two things are completely, you know, on two different levels. One person lost his life and one person almost didn't get to swim. It's not in the same ballpark. But people might approach it as such, though. But you tell me what you think, because, like I said, black men got something to say. Tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.